I wake up in the morning, I think it's going to fail. I have lunch, I think I'm going to be a billionaire. And at the end of the day, it all has equal out. So it's always extremely highs and lows. And I think going through that together, really creates a huge and a special bond between the two of you. And you learn a lot about each other, which is fun. And I think we are better friends than we have been when we started the company, where I would say we knew each other quite well, but now we are really, really close. I mean, I talk to him more often than I talk to my girlfriend or my parents. I'm fairly honest, which is something to consider about when you choose someone you do business with, I think.
Of course. How did it happen? Can you take us back to those, those days, those early on days when everything kind of was starting to come up together?
Yes, for sure. Remember, it was when we worked together, I really liked working there. Also there are up and downs, but in the end, I think it was a great company and I had an awesome time. Also comparing it what other people were doing at the time, really great. And I came back and I started thinking about the experiences I had there and what could be improved. And I think that's always something I love to think about as a kind of room for improvement, let's say like this. And then I studied and I came up with the idea, and then I went over to Felix, my co-founder, and was asking what do you think about that? And he was like, that's actually a really, really cool idea. And he had the same problem. And then, in the end, what did we do? We put together a pitch deck. Pretty soon we got money from an angel investor, and we had some first customers who were interested in trying out the MVP. And then in the end, you have to make the very hard decision of, do I really pursue this? Is this worth it? Why am I gonna go back to a stable job offer, which not only provides stability, but also would have been a great job. So it was really difficult to balance those two opportunities, I would say. But in the end, that's how it happened. You have an idea, you think about it, and maybe you're crazy enough and have crazy enough people around you who tell you to do that.
No, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And you mentioned that decision, which both decisions could have been. It's not about having the right decision or the wrong decision, right? You weigh your dimensions, as you mentioned. What was that feeling, or what was, you would say, the X factor over one decision over the other?
I remember I had a talk with my former boss from the company I was supposed to return to, and at the time, I wasn't decided yet. I was just having a call with her. I was telling me, I'm thinking about doing that. I also started this, and I think it's very interesting. And I was looking for advice in the end from her to tell her what to do, and maybe also a stamp of approval, maybe now in hindsight, of not coming back to her in the end. And I don't know, she just told me that, my eyes lit up, and she was like, it sounds like you already have taken a decision, no? And I was really confused by that. Like, no, I haven't. I'm here to weigh the options against each other. She was like, come on, your eyes light up. You're talking so much about it. You're really happy. You're absolutely excited. And then in the end, it was like, again, calculated risk. If not now, I don't think there's a better opportunity. Now the opportunity cost and the risk is pretty low. So in the end, again, talking to other people really helps. So keep for advice.
Do you believe in, because you mentioned about the eyes light up, and there's something I also think sometimes, that there is something that that makes you know what's the right decision. And oftentimes it's difficult to capture it, as you mentioned. That something might have told you what the right decision is. You probably was not really clear on it, but someone else was there to pinpoint it out. There's something that I don't know, just makes you say, go on.
For sure. I think deep down, when you look back at it in hindsight, it's always easy and you think, well, it was so obvious. At the moment, you just have some sort of feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of think what's going on, yet you cannot really articulate it. You're in a loss of words, and you think it's a rational decision. In the end, it's not. I love to believe it was a rational decision.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channels and share my work on your social media. Until our minds meet again, enjoy the inner wonder you're creating. Thanks everybody. See you next episode.